And we basically, as we talk about that machined look, it's very important that as you keep lines straight, in the end, there's going to be a look that a human drew this. Because not only can you not help it, but you are a human. But the thing about it is that if, as an artist, you can at all, even in the slightest bit, capture that there's the feel of a machine with that amount of precision, yet there's sort of that warm feel that an artist drew it. That's one of the greatest things you can accomplish as an artist, is that there's this feeling of the precision of machinery with an artist's touch. And the more and more you practice, which practice is the greatest thing you can do. And if you love drawing trains, you will practice. It's like if you like playing basketball. And believe me, don't practice drawing trains if it's not what you like to do. If you like watching them, just watch them. There's all kinds of things you can learn by watching trains. If you like to watch and see that this train has 3 locomotives today and 4 locomotives tomorrow, and it's a heavier train, do that. But if you like drawing trains and you like practicing drawing trains, well, the best thing I can tell you is that there's a look of machinery, at least that's what I hope to capture, and in that look of machinery, you will learn math, you will learn art, you learn history, you learn the geography. All the different railroads went to different places. Even in similar parts of the country, they went to different communities, they went to different towns, they all carried different products, and through that machinery, they all touched different people's lives in different ways. And that's how the machinery of trains has touched all of our lives. And by drawing them, you truly will be able to make it come to life. And believe me, don't worry if you feel like this one's not perfect or that one's not perfect. There almost is, in a lot of study of art, there is almost no perfect drawing. I a lot of times say to myself, this one's not perfect, that one's not perfect. None of them are perfect. Even if friends or anybody says to you, you didn't do this one perfectly, like as I put the door on the front of this Florida East Coast, you know, some railroads will have, you know, the number boards will be up on the top, and some railroads will have it on the nose, or the lights will be up there. You know, believe me, the more you draw, the more you will learn to look for all that stuff. And if you don't practice, every time you practice, you will just get better and better at capturing that. So practicing is, as they like to say, practicing is what makes perfect. So it is in the practice that you literally are becoming perfect. So, and if you like doing it, practice is where you're really having fun too. And again, as we put the grill in, the more you do this, the more your lines just get straighter, and you just sort of start to see where everything goes. And one thing, do not expect that you can draw this train at the speed I'm drawing this train. I do not. I don't even recommend for myself that I draw trains this fast. Mainly, I'm just drawing at this speed to present it to you in a video so that you can watch it. But please do not draw at this speed. There's so much about trains to study and enjoy when you draw. You need to look at where horns go. You need to look at the details of the cab. And I've drawn the ES44 and the Evolution series so many times that I'm doing you a disservice drawing it this fast. Now, again, as we put the radiator fan on, this is just more lines to keep straight. But that's just a basic rule of the train, is that you're just looking for lines to keep straight, and here there's lines going in both directions up at the very tip-top corner, the radiator, and there's a lot of tiny little lines. As you notice, it's taking me a long time generally to do this, and there's tiny little lines. And I've always found this is one of the main areas when you have these little tiny lines, there's a tendency to go boom, 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 to want to just do them really fast. But if you're patient with those little lines it makes them look a lot tighter, because they need to be close together, not necessarily close together, but they need to be evenly spaced. That's the best way to describe it. Because if you make them evenly spaced, the thing is that if they're evenly spaced, your eye, as I said about these other grills over on this step over here, your eye starts to catch those little grill lines. And it's amazing, because one of the main areas you think is going to catch everybody's attention is the paint scheme. But if you have these little grills all over your engine, and they have these little diagonal little lines that aren't quite working, and they're just in all different kinds of directions, and they're different spaces apart from each other, it really detracts from the overall look of the engine. And another area where I'm going to be doing this, I'm putting the frame, the actual side of the frame now. I said I was doing the frame in the beginning, but this is the actual side of the frame. I put that on in the very end. I just put the essence of the frame in the beginning. But these steps actually going up to the engine, there are basically 6 steps. And again, the steps, you can measure them, and basically as you measure them, it's important that the steps are all evenly spaced, because the steps in the end, on older engines, a lot of times the steps were just the basic color of the engine. They were, if the step area was black, the steps would be black. So because there wasn't the emphasis on safety that modern trains have. But like on this Florida East Coast engine, if you look, the steps are bright yellow, which is the color of the safety sill on the side. And so what's going to happen is that these steps are going to stand out. And it's important when you look at the engine as you draw it to say, what areas are going to stand out? And if you say to yourself, well, I know these steps are going to stand out, so I probably want to make them be straight and evenly spaced, because just looking at that, they kind of stand out. They're right at the front, right at the back. So that's sort of an area, considering that they don't shout out any part of the real paint scheme. But if those are diagonal, and if they're different spaces, there's sort of again, they don't look like a machine built them. They just sort of